Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar today. We're going to be talking about the UniExplore case course and all the items that you might need in order to kickstart your business career. Specifically, we're going to be answering a number of questions that have been asked to us that are some of the more prevalent questions that people have when it comes to the particular case course or something to do with business in general. So we're going to be going over those questions today. We're going to be answering them. And at the end of it, if are any additional questions, then we can go through those as well. Hopefully this webinar will only be lasting approximately about, say, 20 minutes today. I know that we're scheduled for a half an hour block, but I believe that I can get through the questions that people have asked in probably a bit less time. So without further ado, we're going to get started. My name is Garrett McGilvery. I'm the head career coach at UniExplore, one of the co-founders. I'm also one of the head instructors for the UniExplore business case program, which we host on a monthly basis. Bit about me, just so that reference, so that everybody gets to know who is talking to them right now and why they should be listening. I have had a reasonably long career in entrepreneurial activities. I co-founded a commercial real estate crowdfunding company where we received investment capital from individuals across the United States as well as Canada and to invest in commercial real estate products. I've also co-founded a media agency in the commercial real estate space, as well as a number of other equity raise and debt raising companies and firms that operate across Canada and the United States. So the majority of my experience has been in the commercial real estate sector, but to summarize it, at least that is mainly a finance, accounting, and real estate sort of background, with a lot of entrepreneurial activities pushed in there, just because I've been able to see opportunities and be able to realize them and turn them into real businesses that produce real cash flow and real capital. So getting into today's program, the first question that we have, what are the skills and abilities you need to start or expand a career, and how this program can help? So to start off, in terms of what skills and abilities that you need in order to start and expand a career, probably the number one thing that you can have is courage. You got to be able to go out there and meet new people and see and do new things. The more times that you can do that, the more opportunities that you're going to have at the end of the day. Because if you can put yourself out there, you're going to be able to experience opportunities that you might not have otherwise had. And now, what do I mean by putting yourself out there, and what do I mean by courage? That means really just having an interest in something. So whatever that might be. So you might be interested in finance, you might be interested in accounting, you might be interested in technology, or even, video games or comic books or something like that. You have to go to the places where those people are. So if you're interested in accounting or if you're interested in finance, it's just, mingling with the people that are currently in finance, currently in accounting. There's conferences for all these different types of people that are out there. I know COVID has sort of hampered things down, but I'm talking in sort of a non-COVID environment. But even in a COVID environment itself, there are a number of conferences that might be online with, their own varied kinds of networking opportunities. Because the more times that you go to these types of things and get to meet new people, you can share ideas, you can share experiences with them, and at the end of the day, you're networking as well. So in the sense that if you do end up networking with a number of people at Amazon, and then you see a particular opportunity at Amazon for a job, let's say, then you at least have the advantage of knowing these certain individuals and talk to people, meet new people as much as you can, because that's the only way that you truly get new opportunities. It's through that relationship building, and this is something that's definitely not a sprint. It's more of a marathon. So it's something that you can do throughout your time at university, throughout your time in your your postgraduate education, and throughout your career itself. Because at the end of the day, you're going to get a job outside of university. Um, the likelihood of you getting said job and the quality of said job is going to be dependent on your ability to know people and your ability to perform well in a particular function. Because there's that expression that they have out there. It's less about what you know, it's about who you know. Because if your uncle ends up being a high up director at an organization, then 100% you're going to be able to get that job at that organization because you know that person. Likewise, if you started networking with a particular individual, say in second year university, and then it ends up happening that they have a job opportunity at the end of those 2 years, they're going to give you the job over and above anyone else because as long as you have a similar level of qualifications, they're going to go with the person that they know than versus the person that they don't. Which is why networking and getting out there and meeting new people is so vitally important to basically everyone that's um, in the job market today. It is especially harder for international students because they're not as ingrained in the culture as the Canadian kids or the domestic students that are already here because they have a little bit of a benefit of being grown up in their particular city that they're going to school in, or even just even just their particular country because they have family that's there, they have lifelong connections to friends that are there which are able to leverage their connections of those people's families and so on and so forth. So that's why international students might be a bit behind. So international students have to go out there and really take advantage of the time that they do have and meet and network with as many people as you possibly can. And again, like there's different styles of networking for different people. I'm more of a group-based networking individual, so I like to go to different events and different socializing type of opportunities and get out there and meet people that way. But you know, at the end of the day, just directly messaging an individual and inviting them for a coffee or inviting them for a phone call and then just being genuinely interested in what it is that they have to do, not necessarily having a result in mind because the result that you're looking for is simply just to know more people because that's where, again, as I said before, that's where you're going to get those opportunities, that's where you're going to get those inside connections. So that's why I'm going to say the number one skill of that people need in order to start and advance their career. Now when it comes to the business case program, how is that going to help? Like the best part of the business case program is that you're put into particular groups with random strangers that you don't necessarily know. Those are going to be your peers that you're going to be working through business cases with. And that's a great benefit because right off the bat, you're going to have two different groups. You're going to be meeting new people that are in potentially different schools. They're going to be in different disciplines as you. Some people might be in mathematics, some people might be in business, some might be in engineering, let's say. You're going to meet those new people and you're going to make potentially long-term connections with those individuals. And again, these are people that are completely outside of your social network. So that by them being outside of your social network, it's an excellent opportunity to bring them into yours because when you bring a connection inside your social network, then that opens the door for their entire social network in the sense that you can ask for a referral or a connection or whatever it might be to somebody else that they might also know. That is also particularly interesting. Um, for example, I'm going to say that I I did a case competition about say 7-8 years ago with a group of 3 guys that are in the industry. I did it in real estate. I still am in contact with those people that I did that case competition with, and we've been able to do business together on the commercial real estate side because we share contacts, we share connections, we share information. And just by going to that competition, by meeting those particular people, it's generated me a large sum of revenue because I've been able to leverage them for particular business opportunities. But it's also given me ins to certain organizations because they've referred me to potential job opportunities or even just new individuals that I might not have known, except like they knew and they'd kept them within their social circle and they knew that it was something of interest to me. So again, at the end of the day, that's networking and meeting and knowing where people is the best thing that you can learn and do. The business case course itself is going to force you to network with your like-minded peers as well as give you the opportunity to network with a variety of third-party panel judges that are also industry professionals in a variety of industries, so you can feel free to connect with them at any point in time throughout the case competition itself, or say the case course itself, because they're signing up with the knowledge of, these kids are going to potentially reach out to us and network with us. And again, like, you can build a connection that way too. Any opportunity that you have to build a relationship, you got to take it. So we're putting these people in front of your face, and it's your opportunity to make something out of it. Now, the second question we have: how can you be an effective analyst by working in the Canadian job environment? Number one thing I gotta say is how to be an effective analyst. You have to be open-minded, and you gotta be creative. A lot of analysts nowadays are not singularly specialists per se. They oftentimes have multiple job functions that they are particularly good at. Like, one of the number one functions that you can be good at is technology. And that's definitely something that you'd want to leverage in anything you do in an analyst-based role. And whether that analyst-based role includes things such as accounting, or it's from finance to engineering to QA, having the ability to utilize technology is something that is going to put you miles ahead of any of the competition that are unable to do that. Now, when I say using technology, I'm going to say that having the ability to utilize Excel in an advanced way. And that means using macros or using complex calculations or formulas in there to be able to build particular models. Like, that is going to put you far and far ahead of your competition. Having the ability beyond simply just adding numbers together, having the ability to format, having the ability to even develop new systems or develop new macros even per se. Like, utilizing VBA, which is a programming code for Excel, might be above and beyond what you might consider necessary, but still having those advanced level techniques for Excel is just going to, amplify your ability to do your job. It's going to make you look like a wizard to your bosses, and it's going to make things significantly easier for you. Because when you're an analyst, you're going to be doing a lot of the grunt work. You're going to be putting together worksheets. You're going to put together a lot of information and data. Utilizing and leveraging that technology is going to be able to, speed that up considerably. Me personally, I know a significant amount about technology, and I've been able to leverage that significantly. Me, myself, I've been able to program a number of different languages. Even when I was at an appraisal firm doing an analyst-based job, and that was back when I first ended school, I was given significant advances in terms of my career, in the sense of even just monetary compensation, because I had the ability to utilize technology in an advanced way. And the partners at the particular firm that I was at, and again, this was a smaller company, it was 7 to 9 people at any given time, were very open to it and very appreciative of what types of things I was able to do, even though they're sort of outside of my job function. But they were able to reward me with enough monetary compensation that it made me interested in continually developing efficiencies within the organization over and above my regular analyst-based duties. Now, question number three we have today: what are you going to learn and train through the internship opportunities provided by the program? So firstly, what are you going to learn in the program? Two-part question. So you're going to learn some of the advanced techniques when it comes to problem solving. So to cut it down into sort of how it's going to work is that you're put into teams, you're taught an approach on how to solve a problem, a very standardized approach. And then you're put into teams, and then you're presented with a business case, which you have to go through and develop a solution for. And this is something that involves a number of different steps, which might be overwhelming for a number of people, because a lot of people are oftentimes specialists in particular things, in contrast to being more of a generalist. Because when it comes to business, honestly, being a generalist is almost significantly better than being a specialist. And now, what do I mean by specialist versus generalist? Specialist is someone that simply knows accounting and that's it. They're really good at it, but accounting is the only thing that they might know. They don't necessarily know a lot about marketing. They don't know a lot about, business operations or technology or anything else along those lines. But the generalists are the ones that might not have the same level of depth as a specialist, but they know a bit about each and every system so they can sort of put things together. And now the generalists themselves are the ones that are oftentimes those entrepreneurs, are the ones that are going to be leading the organizations. They're going to be creating companies. They're going to be, making jobs for other individuals and stuff like that because they can see the big picture and they have the ability to enact what you call strategy because of their ability to understand what's happening in the organization through multiple of the sectors. So through this program, you're going to have a bit of an insight on how to become a generalist because we're going to force you to look at a business that's operating. I think the last one that we did in the last business case course was it was a comic book store, and this comic book store was thinking about how to increase the revenue because that's one of the primary goals of a business, and how to do it. They had a number of options that are available to them, and they didn't know what type of strategy that they should enact in order to have it progress forward. And this came with a number of variables. Again, there's a number of technology things that they could do, such as an online store, how to implement that. There's some operational things that they could do, such as dealing with online sales and or creating a new distribution chain. Or they could have done something a little even more far-fetched, such as like opening a board game cafe or renting new space and or just simply expanding the events that they might hold there in order to increase clientele. And again, all of these are more strategy-oriented cases because the whole goal of the program is to make you see that big picture and be able to see what's going on. Because when you do enter an organization, you're basically going to be told to have your blinders on and you have your head down. You're not necessarily going to be able to see the entire objective of the organization and where things are going. But as you progress, as you go up in your career, you're going to be moved more and more and more into that strategy oriented position where essentially you're going to be outside of your job depth in the sense that you're not going to be even doing accounting anymore per se. If you're doing particularly accounting when you start out, you're going to be doing overall arching strategy, and whether that be in the field of accounting or finance, but you're going to be managing people at the end of the day. You're going to be managing a business. You're going to be making business decisions. And making business decisions is more complex than you might think because there's so many more variables involved in creating an effective business strategy than you might think. Because you have to think about cost, you have to think about revenue, you have to think about all of the things that are going to be involved in setting up a particular idea or setting up a business system. And it's easy enough to say that you're going to make $500,000, $1 million worth of revenue per quarter or whatever that may be. But how is that going to happen? Because then you need to have marketing in place, you need to have sales in place, you need to have products in place for people to buy. Those are all a large number of items that you have to think about when thinking of that overarching strategy, and that's what we teach you in that business case program. We try to force you out of your specialist shell, which everybody's been trying to pigeonhole people into, make you a bit more of a generalist, give you a little bit of a flavor of how all business functions work and how they work together in order to create a business. And that's saying that it's not just creating a business, but just creating new business strategy that can help push things forward. Because this is something that, not a lot of people get taught in school, but it is an effective and crucial element to anything to do with business because if you don't have strategy in mind, then you're simply just mindlessly moving forward. Because again, even when it comes to your own career and comes to your own life, you have to have strategy involved somehow because you want to not just wander aimlessly through life without really any sort of thought on where you're going or where you've been or what type of opportunities that might be available to you. you got to have that overarching strategy. While we teach about business strategy in this particular course and how it adapts to various business scenarios, you can adapt the things that you learn in this to your own life in terms of your own career trajectory, because you obviously have to think about everything as something to do with business, because you got to be able to put a strategy down, to have a plan, to make sure that you can move things forward. And again, there's opportunity costs that are involved, and there's potential benefits involved. So you have to think about all of those things so that you can properly move forward. Now, the second part of this question is sort of just asking about the internship opportunity with this program. We have we're blessed with having the opportunity to provide an internship from a commercial real estate private equity fund that will give individuals a 1 to 2 month internship. There's a variety of different business functions that they have available, from sales to research to technology-based items. This internship, again, comes with the fact that you're going to be learning from some individuals that are leading in the commercial real estate space in terms of capital raising and placement of money in capital, large sums of money in capital, from 5 to 100 million dollars worth of capital into a variety of different commercial real estate projects. So the internship opportunity is excellent. Again, you get to see the inner workings of the commercial real estate space from the finance side and the finance sector. And again, it's an excellent industry to get into for a lot of different people, and it's a very healthy industry in the sense that the people that do end up going into that particular sector oftentimes have, quite good salaries, and have excellent opportunities to even move outside of it. Because at the end of the day, when you think about it, commercial real estate and real estate in general is something that's crucial to pretty much every business sector and industry, because you have to have a place to do your business. So even though Amazon might be completely online, it still in fact needs, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of worth of square feet for industrial, so that they can store all of their stuff. And that's commercial real estate. You're going to learn about that stuff. Even though it's completely online, it still needs data centers, because it needs to store all of the information and data and be able to have it up in milliseconds to your computer as you're doing all these searches. So you're going to learn about stuff such as data centers, how they work, do walkthroughs, stuff like that. So that's why commercial real estate is like a linchpin to pretty much every business, because at the end of the day, everybody needs space in order to do things, and inclusive of, even the places where you live. Like, you're going to learn about apartment buildings, condo buildings, how they get developed, how they get made, and some of the intricacies in that. So that's why I think that it's an excellent, interesting opportunity for a lot of individuals. So we're really excited to have that one there. Last question that we have today is just sharing. Somebody wanted to ask a question on to share a growth story that we had in one of the previous programs. The one that I'd probably say that comes to mind is that in the past program that we had obviously sometimes people aren't going to jive well together. Some people aren't going to be working well together because personalities might clash, or there just might not be the right fit of people that are being put together. And at the end of the day, you have to take that as an opportunity to learn, not an opportunity to grow. The student themselves reached out to us in terms of talking about, they might not have felt comfortable reaching out to talking to this particular individual just because of the conflict that they might have had. But the student itself took it upon themselves to formalize the fact that they're here for a case program. They're here to get a job done, accomplish a mission, because at the end of the day, this is business and you got to treat it like business. They not necessarily have to be friends at the end of the day, but the person had the courage to speak up, to let it be known that the type of behavior is not acceptable, and that they won't be accepting it, and to lay the ground rules of the fact that this is a business-based transaction, and that they have to be accountable to themselves as well, so that they have to be able to perform at the same professional quality as you would in any business environment, because you're always going to have certain people that are catty, that are going to be not nice, let's say, or argumentative. But by standing up to those individuals and, you know, setting the ground rules to make sure that the the case that they're working on could move forward was excellent. She did a great job at that. We did some background talk with her to prep her for this type of confrontation, because this type of confrontation can be scary. But in reality, the more times that you have these types of confrontations, the easier that will be, because it'll really help you grow that self-confidence, because you do what you know is right. And, you know, by not standing back and letting these types of things happen, really shows the strength of the character that you have. So we're really proud of that particular student. She did an excellent job. Their case ended up going quite well, even after that sort of that initial headbutting that she had amongst some of the other teammates. So with that being said, that winds up our webinar for today. We had those questions. If anybody has any additional questions in regards to the case course, feel free to reach out to us. We will answer them for you. And yeah, that's it. Thank you everybody for attending, and all those that are watching this at a later date. Wish you guys all the best.